Hello and welcome to TTELT, Teaching Tips for English Language Teachers. I'm Dr. Gina Rhodes. Let's get started. This week, before we get started on the episode, I'd like to talk to you about TTLT Talks. This is a new thing we're doing starting this month with TTLT. It's a monthly discussion with English language teachers, and it's going to be on the last Saturday of the month. This month, it's going to be on January 30th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to talk about issues related to our field, and we're going to discuss ideas for future TTELT episodes. What is most important to you? What would you like us to talk about? Who would you like us to interview? What would you like to learn more about? So we're going to have those discussions, and you're going to be talking with other English language teachers about our field and about some things that you've learned and some things that you would like to learn about TTLT. But mostly it's a place for all of us English language teachers to get together and discuss our teaching tips. If you'd like to join us, sign up on our workshop page at TTLT.org. There'll also be a link in the notes. This week on TTLT, we're talking about Lyricstraining. We'll be giving you lots of tips for how to use Lyricstraining. And Lyricstraining is also going to be our workshop topic for this month. So please join us for the workshops. And of course, you can sign up for the workshops on our workshop page at TTELT.org. Let's get started. What is Lyricstraining? Lyricstraining is an app that contains thousands of songs with their lyrics. In the app or on the web page, you can listen to the song and guess the missing words and get points. It's a lot of fun. I'm kind of addicted. You can also create your own activities to use with your students. They're really fun and quick and easy. You can go to lyricstraining.com to create your own free account. I love that it's free. That's my favorite part. So why should you use Lyricstraining with your students? Of course, songs are an engaging way for your students to improve their listening comprehension and their vocabulary. And songs are intended to be heard many times, so it has a built-in repetition that helps with fluency, pronunciation, word stress, and sentence structure. And in addition to having all of these engaging ways to use songs, Lyricstraining is a fast way for us to create handouts with song lyrics for our students. So if you have a song that you would like to use with your students, you can create the blanks and everything really fast and then print them right out if you're in the classroom with your students, or you can send them to your students if you want to use the lyrics with your students as a homework assignment or in class if you're listening to the song in class. So you can use those handouts, and like I said, it's really fast to create with Lyricstraining. So the first thing is to find the song that you want to use with your students. So let's talk about some good ways to search for songs in Lyricstraining. The first thing is if you don't know what song you want, but you kind of have an idea of what kind of song you would like, you can use the drop-down menu under genres. So there's a genres drop-down menu, and you can look at the different genres that they have. They have pop, they have heavy metal, they have disco and country, even opera, and jazz. So there's lots of different types of music that you can choose. And in addition to the different types of music, they have a specific section for children's music. They also have TV shows and soundtracks and movie scenes. So you can use Lyricstraining to work with your students on all of these things, their listening comprehension, their vocabulary, their word stress, all of these things with movie scenes and with TV shows as well. And we'll be talking more about those in the workshop, but not so much in this episode. If you already have a song in mind, you can search either with the song title. So you can go to the search button and search either with the song title, such as Friday I'm in Love, one of my favorite songs by The Cure. Or you can type in like Perfect or This Is Me, whatever song that you would like to use with your students. Or you can type in the artist. You can type in Maroon 5, Mariah Carey, The Cure. There's so many different things you can type in. There's lots of different artists that you can type. Then most of them will have at least a few songs already in Lyricstraining. And you might be saying, okay, I found my song. Now what can I do? So what are some of the activities that you can do with Lyricstraining? In this episode, we're only going to take time to talk about some of the most convenient and the easiest activities you can do. In the workshop, we're going to go more in depth and talk about some other activities you can do. But we're going to talk about my favorites. The first one is the missing word one. I like to do this one a lot myself. And I, as many of you know, I am studying French, so I use Lyricstraining often to learn new songs in French and to practice my listening comprehension, to learn new vocabulary. So I play this one a lot, but I also like to play it with my students, and we have a lot of fun using this. I usually use the word choice, and just because it gives you 4 words to choose from, and you can pick them faster than you can type in the missing word. But you can choose whatever for your students' level as well. Or you can choose the karaoke version. And the karaoke version, there's no words missing. They're just listening to the lyrics. And so this can be another great way for your students to just practice their listening comprehension, their pronunciation of the words, their fluency. They're practicing repeating the sentences that they hear, and they're hearing how they're pronounced by the singer. So this is another really good way to learn new words and to practice your English. You can also create printed exercises. As I mentioned earlier, it's really fast to create printed activities with the lyrics. You can print out all the lyrics, or you can customize it and decide what blanks you want to take out. And we're going to talk in more detail about this, of course, in the workshop, but it's a really fun way to very quickly create an activity for your students. If you just had an idea right before class, you're like, oh, we should use this song, you can create it very quickly with Lyricstraining. And you can also create missing word challenges. You can either use the games that are already created by Lyricstraining, or you can create your own. So if you want to create your own customized activity that you can use either with your students in class or as a challenge for your students to do after class, you can easily create them with Lyricstraining. And we're going to be talking about that in just a minute. So how do we play the games in Lyricstraining? The first thing to do is to either project or share your screen. If you're online, you're going to be sharing your screen. If you're in your classroom, you're going to be projecting your screen. And then you take the song, you choose your song and choose that, and then you select the mode. And so the mode that you use determines how many words are going to be missing. So if you choose beginner, only 10% of the words will be missing. If you choose intermediate, 25% of the words will be missing. If you choose advanced, 50% of the words will be missing. And if you choose expert, then most of the words are gone and you have to type in all of the missing lyrics. So I don't recommend using that with lower level students. And what I usually do with my students when we do this in class is I will almost always choose beginner, because the idea for me is that I want them to hear the song. I want them to focus on the pronunciation, listen for the missing words, and to get an idea of how they can use this on their own. So I'm giving them this idea of how they can use this on their own. And also, often I use it to assign homework. So we might do one song in class, and then I might give them either that song if it was challenging for them, or I'll give them another song as a homework assignment to do on their own, just to give them an idea of what they can do with lyrics training and to remind them that this is one way that they can use it. You can decide if you want them to write or use multiple choice for the song. I prefer multiple choice. I think it's more effective, but you or your students might decide that you want to be writing the missing words in. So depending on their level, they might choose either one. Okay, and what I do with my students when we do it together as a class is I have them call out the missing word that they think they heard, and they have 4 words to choose from. And so if they're lower level students, they will often call out the wrong word, but your higher level students will be calling out roughly the most of the time they'll get them right, the words that are missing. So you can kind of get an idea of where your students are in their listening comprehension from this activity. So it's fun, and at the beginning they will be slower, but they'll get the hang of it after a while. And like I said, we have fun with it. And then sometimes afterwards we'll do the song again in the karaoke version to practice. And as I also mentioned earlier, I often will use this as a way to assign a challenge or a homework assignment for my students. And I do this probably about once a week. So to create a challenge in lyrics training, you want to click on high scores. And after you clicked on high scores, it'll provide you a link so that you can send that link to your students or to friends, so that you can also play the game together and compete against each other. And so usually what I do is I send the link to my students and I tell them, okay, next class we're going to this is your homework assignment, so we're going to see who got the highest score. And I usually have a small prize for the students who got the high score. And different from other games, if they got all of them right, so they're going to all have the same highest score. So if they are able to achieve the highest score, then you might have 5-10 students who all got the highest score, or you'll have others. So it's also great. There is a way to achieve the highest score, so you don't have to worry about just having one winner. You can have many winners in your class, and you can tell the students they can play it again. So if they didn't get them all right the first time, they can play again and get it right the next time. So it gives them an incentive to listen to the song more than once. And I also want to mention that with lyrics training, in addition to the things that we can do as teachers on the website, there's a lot of things that our students can do that are only on the app, okay? So in this, for example, when they're doing karaoke, or if they're in My Vocabulary, if they tap on a word, they get to see the translation of that word, its use, and some synonyms. For example, I clicked on the word care, and it told me that it gave me the noun and the verb of care, and it told me its translation in French, and it gave me several synonyms for the noun and for the verb. So there's a lot of different things that you can learn from that, okay? And you can also do, it has what is called My Vocabulary in the app, and the words in the blanks that you were choosing when you were doing the multiple choice, any of the words that were in those blanks will show up on your vocabulary list. And they will also show your strength, how well you were able to get it correct. Okay, so if you always got that one correct, it's going to show 4 green bars that says, okay, you know this word, no worries. If you sometimes got it correct, then you're going to have maybe 3 orange bars. And if you always miss that word, then you're going to have red bars that says you really need to practice this one. And you can also tap on these words, any of these words, and it will give you that definition and the use of the word, and give you several synonyms for those words. So that's another advantage to using the phone version for your students. And what I like to do and what I encourage my students to do is to add any of these unknown words to their Quizlet sets. And of course, we use Quizlets in a previous episode, but what I do is I will take these new words that I've learned, add them to my Quizlet sets, and then I can practice those and play Quizlet games to make sure that I have learned those words. So I hope you enjoyed these teaching tips this week with Lyricstraining.com. So let's go over some of the top teaching tips that we learned this week. The first thing is that, of course, there are many advantages to using songs with your students. So if you're not using songs with your students in general, I really encourage you to do that. And Lyricstraining is a quick and an engaging activity to use either in person or online. So you can use Lyricstraining with your students as a quick way to use songs in your classroom in a variety of engaging ways. And for your students, they can use this to improve their listening comprehension, their vocabulary, their fluency, their pronunciation, their word stress. There's so many things. Sentence structure, everything. So there's so many things that your students can learn from songs, especially if they're listening to them and trying to sound like the singer, to have the same word stress as the singer, to pronounce the words just like the singer. These things can really help them with their English. So I hope that this will encourage you to use Lyricstraining with your students. And now I've got a Lyricstraining challenge for you. I'm going to put the link in the notes, so please check the notes and try to get the high score with this song. And I'm going to give you a hint. I made it really challenging this time, so I took out a lot of words. So do your best and put your score in the comments. Let's see if you can get the high score. As I mentioned, this month we're going to have a workshop using Lyricstraining. So there'll be lots more Lyricstraining tips in the workshop. The first workshop is going to be Thursday, January 22nd at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the second workshop is going to be Friday at January 23rd, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I want you to notice that we're using Eastern Standard Time. Some people were confused when we were using GMT. So this year in 2021, we're going to do everything in Eastern Standard Time, and hopefully that'll make it a little easier for people to follow. And of course, if you're not sure what time this Eastern Standard Time is, or New York time is for your local time, then please use worldtimebuddy.com or some other website to make sure that you know when each of our events are taking place. And of course, you can sign up for these workshops on our workshop page at TTLT.org. And I will put a link to that, of course, in the notes, because we have lots of workshops coming up. Don't forget that the TTLT Experience Virtual Story Stitch with Amy Alice Chastain is going to be January 9th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 8 a.m. for Amy in Iowa. And remember, this one is not recorded. It is not recorded, so you won't be able to see this event if you don't participate with us. So please remember to sign up on our workshop page and join us for the virtual Story Stitch event. Okay, and if you aren't sure what Story Stitch is, listen to Amy Alice's episode of Story Stitch. So she explains it there, and she will also explain it in the workshop. So if you would like to come and learn how to use Story Stitch with your students, we encourage you to come to our workshop on January 9th. On January 12th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which happens to also be 3 p.m. in Panama for Joel Alvarez, he is going to be leading us in a webinar on motivation tips. So if you'd like to learn some new ways to motivate your students, I highly recommend that you sign up on our workshop page to go to this webinar on motivation tips with Joel Alvarez. It's January 12th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the last workshop that we have currently scheduled for the month of January is Khatem and Maria's workshop on starting an English club, and they're going to be having their workshop on January 29th at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, that's going to be 6:30 p.m. for them in Los Angeles. So I hope that you will join us at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget about TTLT Talks. As I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, this is a monthly discussion with English language teachers like you. And the first TTLT talk is going to be on January 30th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please remember to sign up on our workshop page at TTLT.org. And I'll also put the link in the notes, but if you haven't already signed up to be a member of our pilot workshop program, please do, and then you'll get emails and all the links to sign up for everything in your email. So you can always sign up on the workshop page, but you can also always sign up in the pilot workshop program through the emails. This month, I also want to thank our donators. We had 3 people donate this month to help us keep TTLT going. So we, of course, need all the donations we can get, but we want to thank Holly Lynch, Robert Chislett, and Linda Thompson for all of their donations. So thank you so much for your help this month with TTLT, and we hope that we will get even more donations soon. And of course, if you're enjoying TTLT and you have the means, we hope that you will donate to patreon.com at patreon.com/TTLT, or our GoFundMe page at gf.me/u/ZDIPJ3, and PayPal at payme.me/TTELT. And of course, I will put all of these links in the notes so that you can find them. You can also find all of these buttons on the right side if you go to TTLT.org. So there's lots of ways to easily donate if you would like to help us keep TTLT going. And we really, really appreciate all of your help. Even if it's just a few dollars, it all helps us keep TTLT on the air. And if you would like to be part of TTLT, send us a message at TTLT.org. There's a place for voicemail and for email messages there. Or you can send me an email at ttltinfo@gmail.com. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and our YouTube channel, and join our Facebook group, TTELT, and follow us at Twitter, TTELT1 on Twitter, and T.TELT on Instagram. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.